So in last video, we deploy React application using Nginx and Docker, and it was running on the 808 port. And this one is uh, the image that we built. The final size is 142 MB. And if you missed that video, you can check it again. So in this video, we are going to follow the best practices. We will discuss the best practices that we should follow while creating a image, and how can we reduce our build size and the build time. So like in our case, the build size is the 142 MB, and we will try to reduce its size. And okay, first of all, let's did some change. Let's update anything, and now try to build it again. And let's see the build size and build time of this image, and we will try to we'll update our Docker file, and we'll see how much time and how much size is reduced after following the best practices of the Docker. Okay, so I'm not the root user of this system, so that's why I have to use this sudo command, and we can use the Docker build command to build the image, and we are going to use the same image again, and React Nginx, and dot is the path of the Docker file. So we are in same directory as decided the doc. Okay, so build is in progress. Okay, so yeah, that's completed. We have our latest build image, and now again. Okay, so yeah, these are the final image. Okay, okay, so let's see how can we reduce our build size and build time. And let's open the file of our Docker file. This one is a file, and let's minimize this. Okay, so here we're using two images. One is Node and one is Nginx, but we are not defining any specific version with this images. So for that, whenever we try to build a new image, it will download the latest available version of that particular image, and it can create any version specific error whenever you try to build. So let's suppose you build your application using Node 10, and next time you try to build a new image, and it can be a Node 11, so it can create some version specific errors. So first rule is always try to use the specific version with your image. Second, right now we are using the default images, and it's a bigger one. So if we don't have any specific reason to use these images, you always try to use say low size or small size images. So it will reduce your final build size. Plus, it will also reduce your build time, because if you're using the small size images, it will take less time to download. Okay, let's try to implement these two rules. So as for now, yeah, so for small size images, I'm using the Alpine images. So Alpine is very popular images. It's a very useful low size, basically small size images, and I think you can do everything with using these images. So in our case, we don't have any specific reason to use the node image default one, so we can use the Alpine image, and I'm using this existing Alpine for our project. Okay, so to specify the version, just add colon and add name, that version. Okay, and for Nginx also, I'm going to use the Alpine image, a low size image. So that's colon, and I just copy pasted the Alpine image. Okay, that's the okay. So it will reduce our final build size, and little bit also reduce the build time. Okay, so these are the two rules, and third one is the always try to use the Docker cache. So whenever we run any instructions, Docker create a cache layer for that instruction, and if we are not doing anything, basically if there is no change in that particular instructions, Docker will not execute that command. It will use the cache layer of that command. And if there is any change, a minor change in that particular instructions, then so Docker will invalidate every cache layer for that particular instruction as well as for the following instructions. So here, like we did a minor change in the app.js file. So because of this change, we have to copy everything again in a Docker build file. So for that our second step, which is copies, will rerun again. And because of that, every time the npm install will run, npm run build, every command will run again and again. So npm is for so especially for the npm install. So whenever we do any changes in package JSON file, we should run npm install. Other than that, there's no need to run this section. So to take the benefit of Docker caching, we always try to add the instruction which is basically least frequently changing instruction on the top. So in our case, we can just move this npm install above the copy file. Okay, but here npm install will need a package JSON file, so we also need to copy npm. So we also need to copy package JSON file before the npm install. So let's copy here package JSON. So we are copying a package JSON. We are installing all the node modules. Then we are copying. Then we are running our build. So now when we do any kind of changes in the app.js file or anything in the code, it will not run the npm install unless we are doing any changes in the package JSON file. Fourth rule is basically it is to reduce your build size as well as the build time both. So as of now, here we are copying everything, whatever we have in our project. So and if we see, we have, as of now, we don't have anything. So like if we see here in a project structure, we have node modules which is not required in the Docker build, and we can have other files as well, like environment. So we can also have some other files as well, like a build folder which is not required. So to avoid copying those files into our Docker image, we can use a dockerignore file. So basically this file is similar to the git ignore. So here we already have the git ignore file, and we are ignoring all these folders. So we can use similar structure in dockerignore file. So let's create a dockerignore file first. Okay, let's create a file similar to the git ignore. For that, in the okay, close this one, and in the root folder, create a .ignore file, dockerignore file with dot. Okay, now we have file, and for now we have only the node module structure here. So we can go to here, similar to this git ignore, we can use this node module here. And if we somehow, if on local we try the npm build, we can also avoid this build folder here as well. Okay, so that's the example of the dockerignore file. So these folder will not copy in our case, and ultimately it will reduce the build time. And the fifth one is use the multi-stage build file to reduce the final build size. So here in our case, we are already using the multi-stage build, and I already explained it in my previous video. So basically, in our case, we are using two images. First one is a node, and the second one is the Nginx. And here we are building our image into using two steps. So first step, we are building our image. So basically, in first step, we are building our React project, and we also added a name builder for this step. And the second step, we are copying whatever we build in first step into the Nginx deployment folder here. So final build size will depend on the last step, basically. So in our case, it is Nginx. So like Nginx image size is 142 MB approx. That's why our image size, the final image size that we created, is also 142 MB. Okay, so I think that's all the best practices that we should look into, or that we should follow while creating a Docker file. Okay, so first let's create a build, and let's see how much it will take this time. Okay, so we are creating a build again using docker build command, and we will check. So last time the build size was 142 MB, and okay, so this is our first time we are creating a build, so it will download everything. So build size will reduce, but the build time will be a little extra this time because it will not use any caching. So, but the next time whenever we build it again, it will use the Docker cache, and the build size will remain same, but the build time will change. Okay, let's build it. Okay, so our build is completed, and we successfully created a React Nginx new image. Let's see the steps that we follow this time. So it's a first time we are building using new Docker images, that will perform basically it will follow all these steps. So in step first, it is downloading the image, node image, then it is copying the packages and file, then install is running. So here the package log.json is little older, using the older version node, that's why I'm getting this error. It's kind of warning here. And in fourth steps, copying whatever we have in our code, then npm run build is running. After npm build, in step 6, we are downloading the Nginx image, and in this final step 7, where we are copying our build folder into the deployment folder of the Nginx server. Okay, so it's completed. Now let's check the images. This one is the image that we created 70 minutes ago, and the size of this image was the 142 MB. It was our image, React Nginx image, that we created using the default node. And now the image that we created using the Alpine images is the React Nginx latest tag. This one about a minute ago that is created, and the final bit size is 24 MB only. So you can see that build size from reduced from 142 MB to 24 MB. Okay, now open app.js folder, and let's do some minor changes here. Let's just add a couple of some extras words here, and try to build the image again and see this time Docker will use the cache layer or not. Yeah, so image is created. Let's check the image that we created. Okay, so this one is the image 24 MB, just 4 seconds ago it was created. It is the same size, is same, because we are not doing any changes in the Docker file, so it will remain same. And now check the steps that we follow, Okay, so here are the command. Yeah, so here we use down here we already have the Alpine image on our system, so it will not downloading it. Then copy packages, and we are not doing any changes in packages file. We are so using it from the cache. And install, there is no change in the packages, and so again using cache, we changed our app.js file, so that's why it will copy again. But this time we use the dockerignore file, so it will not copy that large that big folder, not module folder. So it will reduce the time. And then we are building the npm run build. Okay, and there are the build steps, and in 6 steps we are using Nginx image. So again, we already have that image in our system, so it will not download it again. And then we are copying whatever we have default folder into the Nginx folder. So that's the final step. So this time we use the Docker cache layer, so that's why the final build time is reduced. Okay, so these are the best practices that we should follow whenever we try to create our image. And just for memory purpose, I can repeat this image. So always try to use a specific version to avoid the version specific errors. And always try to use the small size images like Alpine one, so it will reduce the final build size as well as the build time. Third point is use the Docker cache layer. So always try to use least changing instructions or least changing steps on the top, so it can use the Docker cache layer. So like in our case, we put the npm install and the packages file above the copy instruction. Fourth point, to use dockerignore file to avoid copying the unnecessary files while creating Docker build. So it will reduce the final build time. And the fifth one is use multi-stage build to reduce the final build size. So basically, final build size will depend on the last step. It will not include all the Docker images that we use in the process of building images. So like in our case, we are using 2 images, Node and the Nginx, but final build size depends on the Nginx image. Okay, so that's it from this video.